Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mine Mayday, the show all about Spider-Girl and her world. Before we get started, we want to acknowledge our friends over at patreon.com/SpideyDudeNetwork. Friends that you see up here on the screen, like Allison, Cindy, Ed, Georgia, Greg, Janelle, Jessica, Jurgen, Joyce, Catherine, Kale, Laura Howard, Lump Moose, Master Draymond, Phoenician, RJ, Scott, Vanessa, and Vicky. Thank you guys for your support. We've also got Spectacular tier. We've got Sarah and Tara, as well as Walter. Thank you guys for being spectacular patrons. You see the Friendly Neighborhood tier up on the screen. We'll acknowledge those on the audio side. And our VIPs are Scott and Vinkman. Thank you guys so much. If you've not checked out Patreon, you get exclusive clips and shows like Books of X, the show all about the Krakoan era of X-Men. If you have not checked out our other great interviews, Juan Ferreira, Greg Weisman, and JMD Mateus, be sure to do that. Also, check out Voices from the Eerie, Amazing Spider-Man Classics, Clone Saga Chronicles, Spectacular Radio, and the Sal Buscema Era podcast. Once again, we want to thank everybody for watching. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you. And if you want to leave us a super chat, we will definitely check that out. For those that are listening on the audio only side, there'll be references to visual aids and or live comments, so pay that no mind as you listen. If you're watching us live, be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube by leaving a comment down below that like button. Programming note before we get too far into the episode, we're not going to really answer the chat until we get through the rest of the episode, so we'll leave those super chats and comments and we'll acknowledge them in kind of in the back half. But I could not do an episode of Make Mine Mayday without Kelly. Hello, Kelly.
Hello.
We are here to talk about some Avengers today, aren't we?
We're the best Avengers, the only Avengers that matter, the dysfunctional family that is, as Marvel puts them, a next. But yeah, they're Avengers. Come on, y'all. So yeah. Yay. Yay. And then we'll be done until August because Marvel's not letting us go yet in terms of reviews. It is still a Spider-Girl world.
It's still a Spider-Girl world, and we are just living in it. So, okay, if you're watching us live, thank you guys. So we do have some housekeeping that we want to acknowledge, and some news. So let's start with the housekeeping.
Yeah. So as we discussed last episode, and apologies as I scroll down because this is a lot. But last episode, last month, we found a weird no prize that was given to Sean, aka May's friendly stalker, on the old message boards. But we're just gonna call him Sean. He's cool with that. And so he has gotten a second no prize since we had our last episode. And this time they included his middle name on his envelope, which he's never given to Marvel. So that's a little creepy and weird. This time he got a drink recipe for an Irish car bomb, a $2 bill, which may or may not be real from looking at it because it looks way too crisp and clean for a $2 bill, but apparently a $2 bill. And a copy of his printed letter in issue 71. Cover date was May 2024, 20 years ago. And Sean's letter is interesting because he's asking if there are fans of Mayday at Marvel and if anyone would want to work on the title, kind of saying how they must be jealous of Tom and co. If anybody, would want to work on the title like that. And it gives you that whole Marvel, I swear, what is happening if it was Marvel, which we will get into. It makes you very excited, right? Thinking that, what is happening? What does this mean? It was also post-dated on the 13th and sent from California, like the first one. And it's, so are they, whoever's sending these, are they listening to Make Mine Mayday? Did they hear the last episode and see how excited we were? What does this mean? So Sean did write 3 letters into Marvel, so there is a possibility that this person might send him another no prize. I'm also wondering if they're going to send him $3 this time. I'm wondering what is going to be revealed by this third letter, if so. And also, why are they particularly sending it to May's friendly stalker? Like, why are they stalking May's friendly stalker? It's very weird. I'm not quite understanding this angle. But just before we were going to record last week, which of course we weren't able to because of inclement weather that totally took Zach's power out, and why I'm trying our best to get through this really fast so I can do what I need to do this weekend, which is paint. So anyway, we also found out that our friend of the podcast, John, or Droker, J. Oker,
yeah.
Droker, on the old message boards, and as you know, was the influence for Chris's last name in the books. He got a no prize as well on the 14th, or post dated the 14th, also from California. And his is a lot like the first letter that Sean got, which has a drink recipe. It was a Cosmo copy of his letter, which is one of the more touching letters that were in the back end of these issues. And it was kind of talking about his kind of just talking about Nancy's story in Spider-Girl and being a mutant, and kind of the whole discussion on if May is an inhuman or a mutant, which of course we know what that story is, which is May is not a mutant. Like, I hope everybody fully understands that. But you know, it's a very touching story because he brings up his kind of like his childhood, so to speak, and kind of what he was dealing with at the time 20 years ago. So it's a very touching letter that I don't want to fully touch on here. I think maybe we'll read some letters one day. Maybe we should kind of go back and read some old letters. But yeah, it was from his was from issue 74. And John also received a Three Stooges desk calendar from November, which I think it was November 11th, November 2nd, because it was technically election day.
Yes.
Which is weird. And we weren't 100% sure on that. And of course, like I said, a Cosmo drink recipe and $1. Like I said, things are getting weird. John did advise that, you know, he saw it came from California. We know that the Hulk no price envelopes were from like the early 90s. I think they're like early to mid 90s, which is what all of these are coming on from. But there's some differences from those official ones to what we're seeing, which we also kind of like. I lost my mind trying to figure this out on my own, I swear. But like it's very weird and very strange.
We went.
So I know like I tagged Pat Olliffe on Twitter, with everyone on the old message boards that I know is on Twitter. I know Sean's Reddit posts are making a splash all over the subreddit. Zach tagged Ron in John's post. We've even like broke down and we sent an email to the one fleeting contact that we have with Marvel, which is with their PR team, just to kind of ask if there is some kind of marketing campaign going on. You know, like why go to these great links to find these people who wrote letters 20 years ago? Like, John and Sean don't live at the same address 20 years ago, and they now have Sean's middle name, which is very concerning. Like, it's freaking out his wife, which is fair. It's not a great handle if this is, or if this was a official Marvel campaign, which it's not. Like I said, as we will find out, a friend of the podcast, Bertoni, also part of the old message boards, doesn't think that this seems like Marvel, and he would be right. It's a little too much work for Marvel, which is fair. It's also costs a lot of money to get these addresses like off white pages. I don't know if people know, but whitepages.com makes you pay for information. So no, this is kind of creepy. And you know, it's a very confusing thing. You know, last episode we joked that Nick Lowe was drunk and messaging fans for some reason, and now it's like, is it Kevin Feige? Like, what could possibly make the most sense here? Because it's very confusing. Are they listening? Whoever is doing this, are they listening to Make Mine Mayday? Do they want to maybe send us an email? I'll let them, get totally ARG with it if they want to, since this mystery is consuming all of my free time now. I'm extremely concerned for my friends because I know I wouldn't like mail at an address I didn't directly give. It's even if it's a cool, fun thing or not, it's not cool because it makes you feel very exposed. Um, and especially if somebody's using your middle name on the mail, like it's not good. Like I said, this is kind of fun and silly, so don't get me wrong, things could be worse that we know of. But this is starting to go a little too far. And it's getting creepy. Uh, and like I said, as a further point, last week we did get word from Marvel PR. They know absolutely nothing. Zach's
Yeah.
talked to Tom and Ron, and they don't know anything. Ron even asked, kind of told us that we could ask Dan from Spider Talk about his strange letters, which I always thought was like a bit. I didn't realize that that was real. That's
Yes.
creepy. So sorry,
Yeah.
Dan. I thought that was a bit. I apologize. I legitimately thought that was a bit with him with the
So I
Green
did
Goblin
reach out.
letters. Okay, you reached
Yeah,
out to
I did.
Dan?
Yes, I did reach out to Dan. He was very confused by the whole thing because it's very confusing. But even he said, man, he was kind of befuddled and at a loss like we were. And he kind of,
Yeah.
there was a lot of stuff he shared on social media, but if you go back and listen to it's even wilder and crazier on his
Yeah.
Goblin stuff. So, really, I mean, he was kind of in the same boat we were.
Yeah,
So that
which is
nothing really to
yeah.
update. And Tom and Ron, look, if we find anything out, Tom specifically asked for us to let him know because like
Oh yeah.
he's at a
What
at a
it's
loss, and so
it's a I mean, we're all confused. Like we're
yes.
all just completely befuddled because and this is my thing. These are people from the old message board. And the one reason they found us is through those connections.
Mhm.
Or just through their love of Spider-Girl finding, on the Reddit. We don't know if other people have received these letters and maybe they went to the wrong addresses, maybe we have no clue what all is
Mhm.
going on. And like I said, I do want to get to the bottom of the mystery. I want to see what's going on and why. I don't necessarily think it's nefarious. Because they look like very old school. No prizes. Maybe this is a fan just wanting to celebrate really good letters. Or celebrate people they know were from the old message board. Um, and that's cool, but we just kind of want to make sure that it's okay because this is starting to creep some people out now. Um, and we're at an impasse until new letters surface. And maybe, Zach and I have made enough waves that this has spooked this person. And like I said, I'm not trying to spook them as much as I'm just like, I don't understand why you're doing this. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm personally concerned about someone spending a lot of money to find two seemingly random people to send letters to that we know of. Um, that doesn't add up to me. Like something's not clicking. So unless they were also part of the Spider-Girl message boards, or maybe if this is, like I said, been being done by Sony's animation PR team wrongly. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time Sony has been weird. Like just look at Madam Web. Her bad choices.
The number one movie on Netflix, Madam Web.
Just I love bad movies, but man. Anyway, like I said, we're at a total loss, and since the addresses were not given to whomever is sending these by permission, it is invasive and creepy. Period. Um, it's not, that it's sending no prizes. Like that's cool, that's nice. But when you don't have Marvel's permission to act on behalf of them, and you do not have the creator's consent to do this, and like I said, John and Sean did not give this person their current addresses. Sending them 20 years later, even if it is positive, is weird. So what I'm going to ask is, if this person is listening to Make Mine Mayday, and I hope you are, send us an email at makeminemayday@gmail.com. You can make a fake email address. This is something people have literally paid to do, so it shows unknown sender, to tell me that I should be assaulted in the way that you think people would tell me that, and killed. So there are ways to stay anonymous. I would like a nice anonymous letter. So, feel free to please do that. That'd be different for me. But, even if it's just to tell us that these letters aren't meant to scare anybody, I would feel better. We appreciate, like I said, the fun ARG aspect of it, that this has caused. This has definitely like rallied us together. But we do want to know that our friends aren't in some kind of like stalker danger, so let us know or play with us. We'll have fun. But warning, at least on my part, if you are able to actually find my address, you will be looked into by authorities, and you probably won't like the results from that, because I will report it. But anyway, emails are better. You should send me an email.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, that's kind of all we've got right now on this whole mystery. Please stop freaking people out. At least tell us that like these letters are coming in peace. That would be nice.
Yes, for those of you guys that are watching us right now. So we're going to move on to the news element.
Yes.
So there is actual news?
Somewhat news.
Yeah.
So first things first, just silly. We have zero justice for G2 at the moment. As the latest Infinity comic for X-Men, they went into a new, like another universe, and there is a character called Juggernaut Jr., whose name is Justin. Why are all these random men named Justin in Infinity Comics? Please explain. But anyway, he is not J2, but he is Juggernaut Jr. And kind of looks like J2, obviously. It's not news, but Frogoat alerted me, and both of us were sad. So now I'm sharing it with you guys, so you guys can also be sad. It's on Marvel Unlimited, and maybe we should do an episode about characters that are clearly based off MC2 characters, but aren't from MC2. So let us know if you want that. We'll definitely make that an episode. Because I think it'd be interesting to kind of talk about the Annies and Justins and of the world, and why they would not be who they are without MC2. But also in actual news, solicits did come out. It was last Saturday or last Friday, and we've got some Mayday 982 news, as I mentioned up at the top. Spider-Girl is very tiny, but is featured on the cover of the new Spider Society. That will be on stands in August. So just when you thought we weren't doing more reviews for a while, Marvel found a way to pull us back in. We'll probably wait until way after August to review this. We're going to come back from our break in August. And like I said, I know that sounds a little weird because we do normally skip doing episodes in September and December. So it's not like there's going to be a lot on our monthly schedule. But with this news, we're going to kind of pivot our episode game plan a bit, and we'll talk about it more at the end of tonight's episode. But we'll definitely be reviewing Spider Society, probably every 4 issues or so, and go from there in terms of kind of how we're going to do these episodes. But like I said, I'll talk more about it after our lovely discussion about Avengers Unlimited Infinity comic 37 through 38, because I just realized that Zach has this titled 36 through 37. You're on mute, Zach.
My bad. I'll fix it in post.
Good.
So, did I get the scroll right? I got the scroll right. Yeah, the scrolling is right.
Okay, cool. It's just the title. Okay,
it's
that's
just
fine.
the title. Yeah. So I'll fix. Like I say, I'll fix it in post. Cool. So we're gonna get to Spider history. And we go way back with Next. We go back to episode 6 of the show, where we cover the entirety of that particular series. Issue 1 was where we saw the formation of the team. But a few characters we see in this story do not stay with the team, and basically Tom and Ron thought they'd get to it in the future. But as we learned in the interview we did with them, the three of them last year, we learned about how all this came about. So I've got the clip. I'm going to throw up the... Where's it at? I thought I had the clip. Hang on just a second. One moment, please.
We're professionals.
Good
thing we don't get paid.
Yeah, no kidding. Share screen. Well, fiddle farts, because the it won't let me share the QuickTime player.
It's okay.
It's fine. So basically, so basically they were approached early in the year to put this forward, early last year. And I did reach out to Ron about like how quickly they got it up. So basically it was, hey, we never got a chance to tell that story. We finally get the chance to now maybe tell that story, since they're going to, bring us forth to do this Avengers comic. So it was a new, different format. Tom was really kind of thinking it was cool, but he was given a hard time by Ron, because it was up to Ron to figure out how to draw this. In our interview with Juan Ferreira, he did the spine-tingling Spidey Infinity comic, and he kind of talked about how it was a different kind of mindset, and how he could kind of play with like Spidey crawling up and down, and if you flipped your phone around, you could see him crawling up one way and then down the other on the margins. So he kind of had some fun with that. Some of this has been reprinted. I think some of the older stuff has been reprinted, but will we see it reprinted in another format? Who knows? So maybe we'll get a physical copy someday. So while we hadn't learned what happened in off-panel land before, we finally get to know what happened in the off-panel land in the first issue of Next. And so with that, we're going to Kelly's going to break the first issue down. I'm going to break the second issue down, and we're going to trudge ahead and plow ahead. So Kelly, you ready to rock and roll?
Yes, I think so. So Avengers Unlimited Infinity Comic issue 37. Info published on March 14th, 2023. The tagline in the app says, "Being from the world of MC2, the return of Next." Tom DeFalco, Ron Frenz, Brett Breeding, Chris Sotomayor, Joe Sabino, Tom Brevoort as editor, which I wrote in here before we knew everything. Like, didn't Brevoort say he had leftover no prize envelopes on Twitter like 2 years ago?
Yes, he did.
Do we think this is Tom Brevoort having fun?
Possibly.
Like, sir, tell us. Please. Anyway. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So, breakdown. The place, Avengers compound. The time, a future, which may or may not be our own. Blue Streak finds a picture of the group we first see in What If 105, and Blue Streak is confused by seeing Jolt, Speedball, and Jubilee being in the photo. When were they Avengers? J2 tells Blue Streak that the photo was taken on Asgard, and Blue Streak is just beside herself. When did they go to Asgard? So J2 tells her the story, starting with how the son of the original Thunderstrike came to the Avengers compound to retrieve a family heirloom, the enchanted mace. Before Kevin, son of Thunderstrike, could even leave, a gang of trolls in disguise start attacking him. It is an order led by Tyrus the Terrible. Tyrus, if you aren't a Thor nerd, is a character first seen in Thor issue 384 in 1987. J2 explains that the Avengers had been disbanded, but there was an emergency program enacted, kind of from what we know about when the Avengers disbanded from the original run of Next, that if you have not listened to that episode and have not been reading with us, you should read it. It's on Marvel Unlimited. It's really cool. But anyway, that there was this emergency program enacted, and it kind of sent out an appeal to a host of heroes who assembled and battled Tyrus. And then they all got transported to Asgard by Loki, because, that's what happens. generally.
Loki accidentally forms Avengers often, if you just didn't know that.
It's true. He does. So anyway, Loki was planning on stealing the magic mace and using it against Thor, but Kevin, son of Thunderstrike, ruins the spell when he jumped into the middle of this whole thing to retrieve the mace. And we know it's Kevin. Kevin told Loki as he took the mace back that he wouldn't let Loki pervert his most prized possession for evil. Because it's Kevin. So of course he says it like that. Anyway, like I said, when
he learned it from his dad. Let's be real.
He learned it from its dad, yeah. So, but and let's just be fair, you guys know this, and J2 is just hiding his identity. Kevin Masterson transformed into Thunderstrike. He kind of starts blasting around, kind of freaked out, because oh my god, suddenly powers, and none other than Thor shows up to save the day. And after Thor shows up, things quickly end. The fight is ended. He has ended the fight. The heroes decide after that they're going to reform the Avengers, but Jolt, Speedball, and Jubilee declined. But, of course, only after the victory feast and other fight, though. Blue Streak is, again, beside herself. Feast, another fight. J2, you can't just leave a story hanging like that. I know he's flirting with her, but, come on, man. Can't. It's a cool move, but you can't leave someone hanging like that.
Yeah.
So obviously Blue Streak chases J2 down to give her more details. So apparently the feast was on Asgard. Thor threw them a wild victory party, and Jubilee and Stinger got really into it, much to Mainframe's annoyance. J2 advises he was pretty anxious to get, kind of get back home. It was a school night. So he went for a walk and found Thunderstrike having a similar idea to him. They have a cute conversation about being new to this superhero thing and not being their dads, becoming fast friends in the process. However, like most heartwarming conversations end in a Marvel comic and in Asgard, especially, Tyrus shows up for some revenge. The boys fight the trolls, and Thor and the cavalry show up to back them up before the trolls retreat, with Tyrus advising that trolls have short tempers but long memories. Blue Streak asks J2 if he thinks Tyrus will return, but J2 doesn't think he could be that dumb. Zane, buddy, don't underestimate an IQ level of a troll. Come on. But
Internet
Zane,
or otherwise.
Internet or otherwise, but of course, Zane underestimates the IQ level of a troll. And as they walk away, something magical reached with a very large hand out of the photo, to be continued in Rock and Troll. The credits in the comics also give credit to Annie Chang as associate manager, Tim Smith III, editor Martin Brero, as Mr. Brevoort is, of course, the executive editor. And now we get down to thoughts.
Yeah. I don't have a ton of thoughts for these two issues. They're going to be very similar. This is a lot of fun for me. Full stop. The way we see Tom and Ron seamlessly get back into the groove makes me smile and does my heart really big. There's an energy that comes through in the pages, and it's a shining example of both how Ron and Brett have done work together for a long time, and it really just shows. Vinkman in the comments does say that Thor 384 was written and drawn by Tom and Ron. So
yep,
lovely little callback to that. Kelly, what do you think?
I mean, I literally wrote, this is a nice warm cup of tea after a long, dreary day. And I mean it. It's nice seeing old friends and hearing from them again, so to speak. I love that we're getting this story. It's heartwarming. I miss J2. I miss Thunderstrike. I miss Blue Streak. It's really great to see them again. And after, of course, last month's review of Spider-Verse Unlimited, I needed this story. It's quite comforting to kind of see our old friends and to be able to actually feel them versus kind of being forced to accept characters that are out of character. I'm very happy that everybody's here, if that makes sense. In universe and of course outside of universe, because I really appreciate this creative team. So yeah, I'm just it's fun. It's a fun comic. It's like, yay. I'm very glad that they had this chance to do this story.
Agreed. Very much agreed. And like it's it's like comfort food. And being able to come back and you know, when you're feeling down, this is the food you want to eat. So so I believe it was 2 weeks later. Was it 2 weeks later or a week later? Let me double check.
It was 3/21.
So
So
3/21.
March 21st,
March
2023.
21st. Yeah. So so a week later, because it was the 14th. Avengers Unlimited Infinity Comic number 38, published on 3/21/23. Tom DeFalco, Ron Frenz, Brett Breeding, Chris Sotomayor, Joe Sabino, Tom Brevoort. The interiors with Annie Chang, Tom Smith, the 3, and Martin Briel.
Tim Smith.
Tim, not Tom. Sorry, Tim. The place, Avengers compound. The time, a future which may or may not be our own. The situation, dire. A hand reaches out through a portal to reveal Urok, the Uru monster. Blue Streak and J2 see this, and Juggy runs straight into action. Urok is staggered back, and J2 is knocked back. Meanwhile, Saberclaw is complimenting the American Dream via the gym that this meditation that she keeps talking about is actually working. But of course, J2 interrupts this moment of zen by flying through the doors. Or Claw asks if he needs help. Juggy says, "Yeah, bro." Tyrus the Terrible is back and wants revenge on Thunderstrike. He's not this glass portal, and Blue Streak. He's got this glass portal, and Blue Streak talks about how a single blade of grass can shatter a tree in a tornado. Very unfortunately timely, considering that I went through a tornado event last week. Her powers are able to give her the ability to be both a blade of grass and the tornado, which should make them the tree. But Saberclaw, she kind of misses, and Saberclaw jumps at them, and Tyrus remarks that these are new Avengers, where Claw talks about how the team is always changing. Marok, who is the grandmother of Urok, shows up to the surprise of J2, who is like, "You brought your grandma into this?" Which, yeah, bro, same. It was Marok who did this in terms of opening the portal, and the 3 Avengers remark that they are good with their grandmothers, which, as an aside, you should call yours if you still can. Tyrus says Tyrus says to can the chatter when Thunderstrike shows up with American Dream, and Stinger and Strike remarked that you always remember your first villain who was responsible for bringing the team together. And Dream was like, "Wait, this is the ones?" She'd only read about it in the logs.
Yeah.
So the plan, use the Orb of Sakral to absorb the Uru energy of Thunderstrike to destroy him because of the revenge that was vowed last issue. It starts and can't break free, but then Stinger suggests that it's like a battery, and maybe if he overloads it, it will cause it to explode, which he does. Once defeated, the granny teleports them away, going, "I want to get off this miserable mud ball," which sometimes I feel the same there, granny. Upon Stinger remarks that this is not your typical Wednesday afternoon, and Strike says that they've actually, of course, had worse. And Blue Streak is complimenting J2 by showing him her appreciation by leaving a little peck of a kiss on the cheek, and that's how the issue ends, and we have this lovely panel to end the issue. The final panel, of course, is a very happy J2. So, Kelly?
Yeah, this is justice for J2.
Yeah!
Yeah. Something on Marvel Unlimited has some justice for J2. I love this. I've stated that. I have no notes. I have no qualms. I have nothing. This just feels like a hug. And like I said, it feels like seeing old friends you've missed after a very, very long day. So the end on our reviews for now. Anyway, until the end of the year.
I was going to hit the applause button, but I'm not going to because I know you hate this album.
Thank you.
Like, I'll be honest. The fact that we've gotten to this point is a testament to the tenacity of Kelly and her commitment and the relentless nature that she exhibits when it comes to doing this. And so I just want to give all the flowers to Kelly because she absolutely is the reason that this was done. And I am profoundly thankful that we've gotten to this point. The fact that we've gotten 60 episodes of this show, very quickly, it's going to surpass CSC. hopefully in terms of episodes, because we're going to have more people on and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
really, really cool to see. It's such a huge part of this channel, and I'm super thankful that we got to do this so far. And
yes, and we're not done.
We're not done.
We're not done. It's just we've caught up to the reviews.
Well, and look, with our old Mayday show, it was like this pie in the sky thing. We kind of had a 100 episode thing, that we had blocked out. But the fact that we never got to do that was always something that I lamented. And the fact that we were able to start over with this show and trudge forward and be able to do everything that's MC2 related in terms of reviews, I think is awesome.
Well,
and
it's also our blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, look, and there's been times where we got to grin and bear it and grit through it and talk about stories we don't necessarily like, but there's a lot of stories that we love, and this is definitely amongst those. So Ron, if you're watching us, hi, we love you.
Yes.
And we'll have to have Tom and Ron and Pat and everybody on.
Yeah, we want everybody on. Speaking of which,
yes.
So like originally this part was kind of just like the final thoughts on everything all together, but Zach's already started off with that. So
my bad.
You're good. We've gone through 25 and a half years of comics in our reviews now. We're done with the MC2 story, at least until August. So yeah, like look at this lasting legacy that's been left by What If comic issue from 1997, technically.
Yeah.
And not that I'm going to give that to that one variant comic that had red-haired Mayday on
it. The Marvel 97 initiative that, I got you.
Such a bad cover. Anyway,
should have had Ron do it, guys.
It's true. Very true. But anyway, look at the legacy that's been left. So the next step to kind of all of this on talking about this legacy and keeping it alive as best we can is I want to get an audio record of the fan base and what makes the fan base so special and unique. And, the people that keep this world and this fandom alive. Because when you look back on all of this, it wouldn't be possible without the people, the fans who advocated for Spider-Girl. So let's talk about how Make Mine Mayday moves forward now that we're all caught up. We're going to be taking a summer break from recording, but we're not going to stop planning episodes. We want to hear from you, the fans. And we want to schedule interviews with notable people in the fandom, the fan artists, the fan fiction writers, the game modders, the cosplayers. We want to talk to new fans and old fans and kind of bridge this gap of knowledge and history so this fandom can be stronger and more together than we ever have in a very long time. So over the next 2-ish months, send us an email at makeminemayday@gmail.com and SpideyDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Tweet at us, tag us, call us on the Spider-Girl, call us out on the Spider-Girl subreddit. Convince Zach to wake up at 3 a.m. so we can interview Frogoat, because I want to talk to Frogoat and I want to talk about his blogspot. So tell us who you'd like us to interview at Marvel about Spider-Girl. We'll bug our one email address at Marvel PR. We've got their attention.
I've got other email addresses. I'm not going to bug them with this necessarily yet.
Yet. We might have to. But yeah, we've got some PR attention after the No Prize mystery. So who should we reach out to and have a podcast roundtable talk about Spider-Girl and her legacy with other podcasters? Would that be something that interests you guys? Maybe get them to cross-publish the episode on their platforms, because I would love to hear Dan and his co-host talk to me about why his co-host talk to me about why they don't like Spider-Girl. I'd love to hear it. So, just let us know. We'll come back in August with something, probably an episode of Spider-Girl and other media, since we did promise we would talk about the movie and her appearance in video games. But yeah, that's it. We're still very much in a Spider-Girl world, and I'm excited to see what we can bring together.
Yeah, so we always put a call out for emails and voicemails, and we have both of them in this particular episode. So Kelly is going to read the email, and then I'll play the voicemail, and then we'll get to the chat here in just a second. So be sure to throw stuff.
Yeah, you definitely need to look at the super chats.
I have avoided looking at the chat now.
Yes, yeah, avoid it until we get there.
Okay.
But so let's go ahead and start looking at the emails. But yeah, you need to look at the super chats. So we got one email from RH, technically two, but I'm going to read it together. So RH has written, "Hello, folks. I saw the news you mentioned about the No Prize from the Spider-Girl subreddit, and apparently there have been more sent out. Do you think we have a limited series or anniversary one-shot coming soon? I certainly hope so. Also, I really enjoyed Kelly's speech about saving Spider-Girl one more time, and all I have to say is I'm in. Don't know what we can do or should do, but if you guys are planning something, I'm happy to help. My question to you is, what's your favorite Spider-Girl comic cover? RH's favorite is probably Amazing Spider-Girl #1 or Amazing Spider-Girl #12. Amazing Spider-Girl #1 is simple but effective, and I just really like the energy of it. It also makes a great poster. And Amazing Spider-Girl 12, RH enjoys it because they think it's a cool homage to ASM 361, the debut of Carnage. Plus, it shows May and Carnage fighting on the side of a building, and Spider people fighting on the side of buildings is always cool. There's also Amazing Spider-Girl #10 is probably their third favorite, but it would be more effective without the floating heads of May's supporting cast. RH also thinks that... So it says, I think in the early episodes, you mentioned wanting to do a fan roundtable episode. Is that still something that's happening? I haven't been able to listen to every episode of the podcast, so I'm jumping around a lot. Sorry if you've talked about this previously and I just forgot or missed it. Best wishes, RH. And then update, just saw the Reddit post that the no prizes are not coming from Marvel. Please disregard the first part of my email about the no prizes. Creepy and disappointing, to say the least. So thank you for your email, RH. I actually didn't think about my favorite cover when I should have when you first sent this to us. But off the top of my head, my favorite cover is issue 60. I love it with all the female heroes behind Spider-Girl. And I just think that it's a very, very cool cover that shows the history of Marvel, like with female characters and the future, which was at the time Spider-Girl and kind of still is now.
Yeah. It was also supposed to be the last issue of Spider-Girl. So they were,
Yeah.
supposed to be swinging off in the sunset, and that did not happen. So
no, it didn't, which is probably why I also love it. It's now just sandwiched in the middle.
Which is funny because Jeffers was at a comic shop and he saw issue 61 and it had the tagline, the title "They Couldn't Kill" on the original cover. It's just not on the digital cover.
Yes.
And he's like, you know what? I was kind of responsible for this. Should I pick it up? I'm like, yes, you should, Jeff.
Of course. Yeah.
But just so you guys know, my favorite cover is issue 72. Myriad of reasons. One, my letter was published in the issue, so there's a little bias there. But I love this. I wish was a poster, honestly. I just have always really, really liked this particular cover with the big Mayday head and then the Mayday kicking some goons' butts. So that's why I like this.
Also, they're all Ron Frenz covers.
Yeah. I like yours covers, Pat. Your covers are great, but yours also were, some of them were like the poster covers too. So they kind of all bleed together, and that wasn't your fault. That was James's fault. So, but we'll have to get some favorite Pat Olliffe covers for next episode. How's that? Because Daddy Pat.
I mean, I was. Why do you like calling them Daddy?
That was Neil that started that. I didn't start that. That was Neil. They're Spider-Girl's dads. They're the three of them are the dads of Spider-Girl.
Yeah, but you really do like calling them Daddy.
I was just kidding.
Anyway. Anyway,
Oh.
so yeah, no, and we appreciate you, RH, and we do still want to do fan roundtables and talks. So definitely reach out to us, and we'll work something out once we have enough people that want to do something. So
Yes.
just let us know. But yeah, so uh, yeah, and I wrote something on here. But yeah, so we do appreciate you, RH, and we appreciate everybody that talks to us and listens to us. And you know, like I said, this is kind of like we finished our first big goal, which was to get all the issues reviewed. And like I said a bit earlier, and to now, we're not changing kind of what we're doing. We're not stopping. Since there is a new series that is apparently going to feature Mayday coming out in August, if she isn't an issue, we will be reviewing it. Though it may be every 4 months or so, so we don't want to jump around topics too much.
Yeah.
But we are going to start, like in August, we are going to kind of come back to Mayday. Like I said, probably more than likely, unless like where people really want to do an interview in August, it'll probably be another media, like just kind of Mayday and other media episode. And then we'll put out the call for fan tables and other fan discussions for sure. In fact, if anybody wants to be in a fan art episode, fan fiction episode, cosplay, etc., just give us a shout. Find us. Tell us that you want to be on. Share, make Mine Mayday with people you think would want to come on, and we'll try to make something work. We want to hear from our listeners to see exactly what you guys want to hear from us and what the fans of Spider-Girl want to have a voice, like what they want to voice out there in the media sphere for. Because like I said, we are kind of historians in the fandom, so to speak. We're trying our best to preserve these issues in audio format. And, we just kind of want to see what you guys want us to, record for all time, essentially. So just let us know. And we have a voicemail that we are going to get to first, and then we're going to go to the super chats.
Okay, so voicemail. This is left by Walter.
Hi, guys. Kelly and Zach. This is a message just in case I'm a little late to chat. I promise I won't give $500 super chats anymore. But I don't promise to give 5 $100 super chats. But I hope you have a good show. Hopefully by this time Zach's got better internet if he hasn't contacted me again. And that way I can help him. Because if he doesn't, I guarantee a $500 super chat's coming your way.
Oh my God.
Have fun in your show. Until I see you on Saturday. This is your friendly neighborhood troll.
All right, here we go.
So yeah, so speaking of the super chats, why don't you go in order of
Oh my God! What?
I said go in order. Let's go in order.
It's not the end, but the moment has been prepared for by Vinkman. Thank you, Vinkman. For Kelly to get a Mayday Hello Kitty neon sign for the background.
Okay, so I appreciate that, Walter. I don't have access to where these funds go to, so you got to talk to Zach about that. But this is Lucy. It's a French bulldog. It's Lucy.
There you go. It's Lucy.
So we'll look at it. We'll see who can make a Spider-Girl neon sign. But thank you. Like, it's crazy. Thank you. And then of course Walter did say, wait for Zach to see. Then
get some Mayday merch, and then he wants me to cosplay.
You got to do it now. Got to do it now.
But wouldn't that be me just dressing up as Ben Reilly? Or unless I got to put on a wig.
That's up to Walter.
Oh God, Walter. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you, Walter.
No, I am not drinking. I have a Blizzard cookie dough. Hey to Ryan Reed.
Yeah.
You know, the no prize sees all and knows all. Ryan got a letter published. I got a letter published. Josh got a
Ryan, but like, have you seen a no prize? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, there is a situation happening, but we don't know until we see another one.
I did ask Jeff. He did get a no prize for naming the letters page back in the day.
That was back in the day. That was definitely sanctioned by Marvel.
That was definitely Tom.
Yeah.
Neil, you know, that was a rabbit hole to go down, and he was glad that he was there to try and solve the mystery. As always.
Neil did help a little bit, but let's be fair. Most of that was us on a call together, and I was sitting there every single time y'all were talking about other things. I was going, what if it's this? Can we ask this for hours? Because I was going crazy.
Debated about sending the PR team an email. I mean, we batted it back and forth, and so, but you know, shout out to those guys, to them for being helpful. And
yeah, even though literally their answer was like, what?
We had nothing to do with this.
Like, no. Like, what is happening? But just so everyone does know, it is on their radar now.
Yeah.
Vickman
says this is what a good MC2 story feels like. Nanny was us. Ryan has been doing perler beads for all the MC2 characters, and he's about 12 away from having all the MC2 characters done, so that's really cool. So yeah, it's been a rough few years for us, buddy. We understand. No more. I don't want Zach and Kelly's head to explode. Go fully into it.
No.
No, I can't do that. That's just weird.
And not even we're not even gonna play with the like Wild Wild West like water balloon scene either. Just no. We're no. Drawing line. You're welcome. So with that, I think we're pretty much done here. So look out for more info late in July on kind of what our timeline is for recording in August. And until then, make mine and yours Mayday.
Yeah. As always, we want to thank everybody for watching us live. If you're listening to the audio edition, thanks again. If you have not followed us on our social medias, Walter, that's why he shows up. You can find us on Facebook at Spidey Dude Network, Twitter. You can find us both at Make Mine Mayday and at Spidey Dude Radio. YouTube, if you've not already subscribed, if you're listening to the audio edition, be sure to find us over on YouTube at Spidey Dude Radio Network. Instagram and Threads is at Spidey Dude Network as well. And you can also find me on TikTok. So yeah, we will see you guys next time. And if you have not checked out our other shows, be sure to go do so. And the next recording we'll do here on the network is going to be another episode of the Spidey Experience. So once again, thanks to Kelly, thanks to everybody watching, and we'll see you next time here on Make Mine Mayday.